Hello and welcome back to CellySZN. Right, let's just get down to it. It wasn't really much to talk about from that game. It was a 0-0 draw. Not really much to chew at. It's not like there was a frenzy of goals. It was a wet night in which it should have been a lot of goals, but they were quite. Crystal Palace were actually quite defensively solid, in all fairness. The stats actually reflect this. They were also quite more creative going forward. I thought they actually did really well with how they used the strikers, especially. They had more coming at us, meaning that we had to defend, meaning that we had to defend a lot more, which the stats actually show. If you look at our XG, we didn't create as much. We didn't create as much quality chances or take quality shots because we only had 0.37 xg in comparison with their 0.71 xg, which meant that they had more quality shots. It just didn't result into a goal, and they had 12 shots, and we had 11 shots. And when you compound all of this, it shows that our problems never really left. It's just Arteta just really tweaked around the system and tried to find a way around with the players he had, and it worked for a while. But if we do not kind of like add to this group of players and really look to be a lot more creative, a lot more cutting edge, a lot more clinical going forward, we're gonna slump right back to exactly where we were back in November and October. It's just gonna be the same thing over and over again, and that's what I've noticed. I do think that we did defend a lot better this time, in all fairness. Now, in all fairness, I only watched the first. In all fairness, I watched the match already, but when analyzing this, I wasn't going to watch the whole thing again. I usually do, but there was nothing for me to look forward to. It's not like there was a lot of goals, so there was only isolated moments that I could pick out to make certain points. And in all fairness, the way that we were actually pressing I was quite impressed. The way we would press intensively from the front. So if we had Lacazette if we had someone, if they had the ball in their half, we would only let Saka, Lacazette, Emile Smith Rowe, Aubameyang, all of them guys will be pressing, whilst you will see Ceballos and Xhaka taking up running back to actually help out the defense, or at least trying to keep the balance between the space that's being left out as the four attackers that I just mentioned are doing their press. That's what I've noticed, and I thought that was going good. The one thing that broke it down was, in my opinion, when Eze, or I forgot the other winger's name, but when they would cut inside. This caused a lot of problems, because then what Zaha would do let's say Eze cuts inside, he would cover that space left by Eze. I think we saw this in quite a couple of times, especially when the chance in which Eze actually was cutting inside here. Let me just transition to it. It was really here. I think it was here. No, not this one. Sorry. I think it's here. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so Eze has got the ball now, and he would do this. This is what broke it around. So like I was saying, Zaha would drive and try and exploit and move into the channels. Now that was Eze coming in from deep. So we haven't really got to see what the point I was trying to illustrate, in which Eze would cut inside, and then you will see in this case would be Zaha going straight to the wing. So they had this numerical advantage where the left back there would also overlap as Eze would move into. So that's what I believe really stopped us from transitioning from attack to from defense to attack. If we were that's what really stopped us from defending as well as we should, or breaking their attack down, because they were quite dynamic in their movement. But the one thing that I was really impressed at was the pressing, was the way in which Arteta set them up to actually defend. Now, I'm going to go right back into the match again. I think this is the timestamp, but it was in the 10th minute. As you can see here, this is Xhaka and Ceballos. Depending on what side it was on, depending on what side the ball is in, you will see this happen a lot, in which Maitland-Niles, who was the left back in this match, would be quite advanced forward, and Xhaka would fall back and cover him, whilst David Luiz and Holding, they don't really change much position. This has actually changed, because in the previous matches, let's say El Neni would play, he would actually go in the middle of the two. But what's happened here that I've noticed is how Mikel Arteta has actually tried and make the defense a lot more astute. And this is what I think was the difference in today's match, because there was a tackle in which Xhaka made, a goal-saving tackle, in my opinion, in which Zaha was actually through, and Xhaka had to make that tackle, and he did. And it was quite because of this numerical overload that we now are starting to have in defense. So as you can see there, while Xhaka goes back to communicate with the defense and becomes an halfback, you see Ceballos take up this position, and he would be the one to be the orchestrator here. This wasn't the first time it happened. This also happened in on the 22nd minute, if I can find it. I haven't. I've got it in the wrong timestamp, in my opinion. I've got it in the match timestamp, not in the actual video timestamp that it should be. But right, this is another example here, and bomb forward the strike. But the main point I want to make here is Ceballos here, David Luiz here, and Maitland-Niles. It's quite. Okay, this is the point I'm trying to make. Right, you see how these three are like now. This is actually how our back four is now. Bellerin is here. Obviously, it's not the same as before. But the point is, because the ball is on the right-hand side, Ceballos is now filling in as a halfback, while Xhaka is now become the orchestrator. And Holding is basically holding. And that's how we would defend and cause numerical and have a numerical advantage when we're defending, and that really stopped. That really stopped Palace. The ball up here, you can see Benteke and Zaha. This is what I was talking about. So Eze, I don't know what, they were so deep. This really confused me, because they gave up on the wing play. So now Zaha picks the ball from the middle. Watch at this moment. Eze is gonna cut inside. That was a good run from the fullback to overlap. And Zaha, as I said, he would either come deep and allow Benteke, which is how Benteke got so many shots away. He would come deep and allow Benteke to do the roaming and find the space, which always kept our defense on the constant attack. On the constant pressure. As you can see here, Ceballos has taken up the position and tracked the left back run, which was really good. Our defensive shape, in all fairness, I can't fault it. Because here you can see Ceballos, Holding, and David Luiz and Maitland-Niles all creating a back five. And Xhaka is there in case we need to quickly switch from defense to attack. So, of course, as you can see, they're outnumbered. They have to go out now and go back. This is a pressing trap again, because these are the only options available. They would think, these are the only options available. They would think, okay, cool. If I pass to these guys, they are able to make some kind of chance. But if they do, he'll be pressed by Saka, and he'll be pressed by Xhaka. And then these two have already covered Benteke. So they're not really going anywhere because of the pressing trap that they have managed to set up. The only way it can work is if Saka and Xhaka, they both press really intensely. If they don't press, it falls apart. And yeah, just like here, they didn't press intensely. They were just watching. because if they did proceed to press intensely, they would have really put them on the back foot and would have been on a swift counter attack. But they didn't. They allowed them to actually play on, and this was. I'm still waiting for the moment. Actually, this is kind of a, I'm still waiting. Come on, guys, like chill. Okay, now that 1-2 with Zaha. This is the moment. All right, so you can see because they had the ball for so long, Xhaka decided to fall back. This is exactly what I was saying earlier. This is I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier actually, but this is what I was talking about. They would go into that halfback situation. So Ceballos in this case was the halfback, or was a centre back, or a makeshift centre back. But they had the ball for too long and they advanced into the box, meaning Xhaka had to leave his role as an orchestrator and become a centre back as well, and try and prevent the chance, and which he did. And that's really what kept us in the game. That's really what broke down Crystal Palace and equalised them. So that, because if we were not that, because I believe that if we were not that defensively astute, we would have conceded at least a goal, at least one goal, and they would have nicked the game from there. So I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. I've noticed that, and I think when I see that, I do think if we get the right personnel in, it would be good. It would be. Let me not say good. It wouldn't just be good. Going forward, I'm more encouraged by our defending, by our style of defending, by our quality of defending. I personally think when we have a balance, or at least a level, at least a balanced squad in which everyone is accounted for, there's a 10, there's an 8, there's a 6, I think we could cause a real damage this season. But that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you really found this video useful. But what do you think? Like, what did you notice in the match that I may not have noticed? Did you think we played well? Who were your best players? I'm not gonna rate anyone because, in all fairness, it's just, to me, it just wasn't. I just don't rate players. I rather just look at the tactics and decide from there. You guys, let me know what you guys give the players, individually. Did you think Saka played well? Did you think Emil Smith Rowe played well? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Have a good day.